Ted Rubin.
Hey, man.
Episode number 47 of the Top 5 Scope, and I've got my buddy Ted Rubin in the house.
Excited to be here, man. I gotta tell you, visiting Joel, it says on his door, no solicitation, so I couldn't solicit when I came in. So I'm behaving myself. I'm not telling Joel what I want him to do for me, but then again, I don't think I ever did.
So today, no, you're cool, man. I'm glad you're here, and we're going to do top 5 tips for explosive return on relationship, because you know my buddy Ted's hashtag is R-on-R.
R-O-N-R. And don't forget that beyond that, the next step is that there's no let up. Hashtag no let up, baby. And there it is.
There it is.
No let up.
Don't let up. Don't ever let up. So Ted is just the consummate pro when it comes to relationship. He's all about people. He's all about building
That's it,
relationships.
right? Yes, you got it there.
Hashtag.
That's my man, Jason Trump.
R-on-R.
And Jason, listen, I got to apologize, man. I sent you an R&R bracelet. It came back because it didn't have enough. Ridiculous that it didn't have enough.
It was a return on postage.
It was a return on postage for 22 cents, which, by the way, I've never had that happen with one of these. And I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't get it back out to you this week. But it will go out as soon as I get back home.
There you go. And that's a promise from
It
my
is.
man Ted Rubin. He's a man of his word. So we're going to get started here in the top 5. And while we do,
Return on
I got my
postage.
notes here because in episode number 4 of Top 5 Scope, I said top 5 reasons to make notes. So you know what it is you're going to talk about.
Yes.
And don't get left, going, wait, where was I?
What was I supposed to
I
talk about?
don't even remember.
I mean, that's the whole reason I have slides when I do a presentation. There's nothing on them. It's
Reminder.
reminders, sir.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a trigger, so you know what.
And good shit for for people in the audience to tweet out.
What he said.
Yeah.
So you guys can keep sharing as we're talking, but let's get
Be
started.
good to people, baby. That's right. It's simple.
Number 1 tip for explosive return on a relationship is
Listen.
what?
Just listen.
Oh,
Excuse me? What?
I'm listening.
Because, most people, you think you're listening, and you're not paying attention at all. I mean, let's think about it. Half the stuff I probably said to Joel while I was here earlier, he doesn't have a clue what I said, because he was just kind of looking at me and staring, but seriously. It's about really, I call it not just listening, but hearing. Okay, now I had an argument with my publisher about that because they said, no, it's don't just hear, but listen. But I think people have gotten used to the generic, just you got to listen. And then they don't. One of the reasons I think salesmen become such great marketers, I think some of the best marketers out there are former great salespeople. Because any good salesperson learns how to listen first. And that's what you got to do. And these days, there's no excuse not to. There's so much material out there that if you're not paying attention to your audience, if you're not out there listening to what they're saying, if you're not doing your research, if you're not simply just Googling someone before you meet with them or going to LinkedIn, then you're not doing your job, and you're not going to let them know that you care about who they are.
That's right. When you meet somebody at a networking event for the first time and you ask them, so what do you do?
And then you don't listen.
You gotta,
Or you ask them their name.
Right.
And 2 seconds later, they come over and they say, oh, can you introduce me to this guy? And you go,
You're like,
because you're not listening. You're moving on. What you're doing is you're moving on to the next thing instead of paying attention to what's happening now. And that's so bad for building relationships. If you want to build relationships, you pay attention to people. You listen to them. You repeat back things they've said to you. And then they think, wow, this guy's really listening to me.
I heard what he said. He said I should
Right?
listen.
Imagine women if your husbands actually listened. Freaking remarkable. I mean, if one time the dude would just take out the garbage when you asked him to, instead of just nodding his head and let it sit in there, can you imagine this would be a revolutionary thing in marriages across the world? But it doesn't happen. It's really hard to do in your personal relationships. But in your business relationships, in your friendship relationships, or out of the romantic kind, it's a must.
I want you to
And by the way, if you do it in your romantic relationships, amazing. I know it's almost impossible, but if you do, it's groundbreaking.
I want you to know, Ted, I heard exactly what you said. I wonder if that's still broadcast in there, maybe. I hope it is. It looked like it kind of locked up. So number 1 is listen. Number 2, it's not about you.
No, it's about them. Make it about them. Not me. I just got here. Joel, this is where I was. I don't feel good. I went here. I'm going from here to San Jose, and then I'm going to San Jose. How about, Joel, what's up in your life, man? I love your new glasses. Tell me about them. I mean, and then...
John Varvatos.
And then jump back to number 1.
Did you listen? What did I say?
And listen about John Vargas.
Boom!
Oh, boom. I mean, that's what it's about. Make it about them, and then listen when you make it about them.
I I like it.
Simple, yeah.
I like it a lot. You know, I'm noticing here on this other app I'm using, it starts dimming even though we're still broadcasting.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Oh,
It
really?
should-
That's
It
interesting.
should stay live. So, number 2, it's all about them, the person you're trying to build a relationship with. Numero 3. A little French for you.
When was the last time you walked into a retailer or a store or anybody providing a service and they said to you, how can I serve you? And this used to be standard practice.
Right.
But how about doing that with all your relationships? What can I do to help you? I got a buddy, ex-business partner, probably a future business partner, John Andrews. Okay? Love the guy. John does every morning is when he's driving to work, he's got a list of phone numbers, different every day. And he calls up people, and the first word I know when I see his name come up, I know when I pick up the phone, the first words out of his mouth after he says, hey buddy, or hey dude, he's going to say, what can I do to help you? What can I do to serve you? How can I make your life better? How can I do something that'll add value to your life? I tell this to brands all the time. Stop worrying about content being perfect and contextual. Make it valuable. Make it something that helps people.
Here's so do you know David Hancock? My buddy David Hancock at Morgan James Publishing.
I don't think I do.
I got to introduce you at some point. I've done 6 books with him. Great publishing house. And when
6 books.
when you call David, he answers the phone and he says to everybody, "This is David. I can help you." He just tells you right up front, "I can help you."
I love that.
Isn't it awesome? I can help you, and I love it. So now when I call him, I say before he gets a word out, I say, "This is Joel. You can help me."
So it doesn't have to be the words, how can I serve you? But it can be that being a part of your brand, that being people knowing that when they need a connection, when they need someone to help them network, when they need a new job, when they need to understand whether what they're doing is working, when they want a valuable opinion or somebody that's going to speak straight with them, that you're someone that's going to be there to help them. If you're there to serve people, they are going to get back. I like to say, do for others without expectation of anything back directly in return.
It's an attitude of service,
No,
right?
it is, but what it is that, when I first started saying that a bunch of years ago, I was very involved in the blogger community, specifically the mom blogger community. And 3 or 4 mom bloggers came after me big time, and they said, well, that's not return on relationship if you don't want anything in return. And I said, but it is, because return on relationship means on your relationship in general. It means from really your whole global world. And people, look, your brand as a person is what you do. As a business or a person, your brand is what you do. A reputation is what people remember and share. And when you build a reputation as somebody that does for others, other people are going to do for you. It's really that simple.
Number 3, how can I serve you? Number 4 in our top 5 tips for explosive return on a relationship. What is it, Ted?
Well, I think it's something to do with engagement. Aim for ongoing engagement. How many people do you deal with in social?
See, we're engaging.
No, but we're engaging and we're continuing the engagement.
That's right.
How many times do you see people ask a question on Twitter, especially brands are really guilty of this? They ask a question and then they just walk away.
But I have an answer for you.
And then you answer and you never hear back. Or how many people in general? I mean, I can't believe I have people that will reach out to me and I will get an emergency message. It'll be a text, it'll be a tweet. Ted, I really need to talk to you. It's really important. Can you help me? And I jump right back in. I go, great, what can I do for you? And then I never hear back. Or like 2 days later, they come back and they go, so I wanted to discuss something. I'm like, who are you and what was that about?
What was the point of the initial outreach?
Right,
If
what
there was
was
no follow-up.
And this happens all the time. You start conversations and you walk away from them. You get involved in something back and forth, and sure, look, we're all busy with other things, but you have to let people know that you will come back to it. Or I tell people all the time, if I don't get back to you about something, or if I don't follow up, please remind me, because it means that I overlooked it. But I don't want to do that. And I'm actually more upset if you come back to me a month later and say, you never got back to me, and I'm like, oh my God, well, why didn't you remind me? So, it's really important, especially when you're looking for something from others, when you're trying to engage them, when you're reaching out to them, follow up, answer their questions. If you ask a question and they reply to you, respond back.
It's simple. It's not rocket
And
science.
this is not, look, I hear this all the time. This return on relationship stuff, this is not new. This is not rocket science. Well, guess what? It's not. But here's the problem, okay? Most people just aren't doing it. They're really not. It's so easy to say that this is easy stuff to understand, and this is common sense, but guess what? What's not so common?
Sense.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you aim for the baseline, you're going to be above what most people do, is the point. You
Absolutely.
go above the baseline and you're going to stand out. So number 4, aim for ongoing engagement. And finally, number 5 is really about you because you're the audience.
How many brands, how many people, how many of you don't even know who your audience is? Don't even know who follows you? Don't even know what the makeup of it is? Don't even bother going to see what they're doing. So I talk to brands all the time. I speak in front of audiences, okay? It can be anywhere from 50 brand marketers to 5,000. And I always ask this question: who in this audience, either themselves or somebody on their team, goes to the Twitter feeds or the Facebook pages of the people that like them or their brand or follow them, and go see what they're doing there? All you're worried about is who's coming to your page, who's retweeting your tweets, who's looking at what you're writing, instead of simply going to the things. Whenever I speak, I put up a slide of a fly on a wall. And I ask people, do you know what this is? It's the proverbial fly on the wall. I wish it could be a fly on a wall in that meeting, right? Everybody says they want that. Well, guess what? Every consumer out there is inviting you into the living room, and you're not going. It's all out there, all the information you want. Start going to their pages. Start making everybody in your company responsible every day to go to a few pages of people that are involved, that are in your demographic, that follow you, and see what they're talking about. It's all out there for the taking.
Perfect.
Know who they are, because if you don't know who they are, you're throwing every marketing dollar out the door.
If we could see the amount of waste
Oh,
in social of them attempting to put them, I say them, brands that put themselves out there and don't follow these basic precepts.
it's unbelievable.
Whoosh.
And the waste of just individuals, or, I can't tell you how many, I know guys that do email marketing for their own small business for themselves, and they don't even follow up. They get people that reach out and say, I'm interested in that, and they don't even call them back. And then they complain they don't get enough business. It's really not that complicated. Communicate with people, listen to them, ask how you can help make it about them, follow up, know who they are, rinse and repeat.
Boom. And our friends from Archon Mounts, Aaron, that I told you is making me that super cool mount that I believe is on the way. Yeah, he just popped in here, and I can't wait to see that mount right now. I've got it jerry-rigged with 2 devices. I'm using your tripod right now for the iPhone, for the Mevi, and the iPad is just in its stand, so can't wait to see it. There you go. Top 5 tips for explosive return on relationship from my buddy Ted Rubin. TedRubin.com. At Ted Rubin, all places.
No let up, baby.
No let up.
No let up,
Hashtag
baby.
Ted Rubin. Thanks a lot for joining us today, guys. Really appreciate it.
And
Teddy,
be good to people.
Be good to the peoples. Teddy and I are going to hang out for a while. Then we've got a dinner we're going to go to. Probably do some Snapchatting. Follow at Ted Rubin on Snapchat. You guys know where to find me.
At Ted Rubin on Snapchat.
Boom, like that. And until next time, do that good stuff. Say down Periscope.
Down Periscope.
Boom, there it goes.